Hi everyone, welcome to AKT's quarterly release webinar. My name is Danny Cohen and I'm AKT's Head of Technical Solutions in the HR Cloud practice. I'll be presenting today's webinar together with my colleagues Moti Itzkovich and Ran Shapira. So this is the agenda for we're going to cover in today's session. I'm not going to go over it, just for you to know what to expect in the session itself. Before we start, I'd like to remind all of you that the new features are already available for you in your preview instance since August 18th and will be published in your production instances on September 15th. This is a 2 weeks delay from SAP SuccessFactors side. The first set of modules for today are the performance and goals management modules. And let's start. The first up is related to the check tool functionality. SAP is making a big effort to improve this tool as a part of making the system configuration simpler and easier for you. The first feature is a new check for rating option that has been added to the check tool for the performance management module. This check determines discrepancies between the permissions for a rating option you have configured and the expected permissions in the form. So when you click on the issues found in the check tool, you get a list of issues along with the detailed explanation and recommendation from the system. The check tool will provide an explanation and possible solutions for cases where there is an already suggested best practice. Moving over to the goals management, we have yet another improvement of the configuration check tool. It includes a variety of validation checks, including determining whether the goal plan XML has the attribute allow group goal set to true. If this is not true, the system will provide a warning. And it will only happen in case where the customer has enabled group and or team goals, in which there is a likely intention to use either of those features. The second check will identify if a field definition exists in the XML template in the absence of corresponding permissions in the form, in the goal plan itself. As most of you know, performing actions on a specific goal in a goal plan can be a bit complicated, especially if you have to scroll down to select the relevant goal for action. In this release, SAP have improved this feature. As you can see on screen, before the header disappeared when scrolling down the goal plan, forcing the users to scroll up again to take actions for the specific goals. Right now, as you can see in the after screenshot, the header will not disappear, will stay on screen, will enable you to scroll up and down to the goals and then immediately take action on a specific goal. In addition to what we've said till now, please note that this release introduces a very long list of notable fixes in the goal management. Due to time limitations, we will not review them in this session, but I would like to encourage you to review them in the detailed release notes. I'm sure that you will find many of them very beneficial to you. Moving on to the mobile release schedules. So mobile, as you know, follows a monthly release schedule and not a quarterly one. Unlike the web, the releases are expected on every month, on a monthly basis, except with the exception of January, when SAP doesn't have a release. The mobile application updates are usually available around the 20th of the month, and the content of today's presentation includes features already released in May, June, and July, and features scheduled to be released on August and September. So first discussing the ones that were already released in May, June, and July. So the first one, the first mobile feature that I like to share with you is for iOS and Android users. Now, these users are able to take advantage of the complete continuous feedback features, including giving and requesting ad hoc feedback, as you can see presented in items 1 and 2, and linking ad hoc feedback to CPM activities, continuous performance management activities, and or achievements as presented in item 3 here. Additional features for this mobile module is the fact that we have a few new manager actions as presented in screenshot number 4. The manager can request feedback about a direct report. And in screenshot number 5 and 6, you can see the employee's actions as well, deciding if a feedback is visible to the manager or not, and the option to delete a feedback after it has been given. Since feedback is an ongoing continuous need, it only makes sense to allow users to give and receive feedback from their mobile devices. And now for the future ones. The most important one and one of the main highlights in this release is the new Android application design. This is a more intuitive and consistent UI function that will be implemented across the Android SuccessFactors application. As a part of that, you can find the updated continuous performance management design as shown earlier. iOS users, SAP cares for you as well. So a set of new features like the integration between learning and continuous performance management is going to be available for you. Using this new functionality, iOS learning users will be able to create a CPM achievement from the history detail screen of successfully completed learning items, as you can see here in screenshot number 1. And in addition to that, they will be able to create a CPM activities from the item detail screen assigned to them in the LMS, and also mark CPM activities created from learning items as completed once the item has been successfully created on the learning history screen. This feature betters the user's experience for mobile learning and CPM users by removing the need to navigate between these tabs. The next one, coming in August and September, is related to customers using collaborative steps in performance processes. Performance reviews will now support collaborative route map step. If a performance form is in a lock stage within a collaborative step, users will see a message informing them that the form is locked by another specific user and will be unlocked in a certain period of time, as you can see on the right side of the screen. This feature will be available for iOS and Android devices. And that means that it's actually covering all the performance features as on the web and making them available on the mobile devices as well. Moving on to compensation management. So the first new feature for the compensation is the new role-based permissions to control the export of data from the executive review screen and the hierarchy-based approval feature, also known as HBA. With enhanced focus on data protection and privacy, customers would like to further control who can or cannot download the compensation information on their station. And this new role-based permission feature enables that, enables this control. Our second highlight for the compensation module is the option to view the custom field labels in the logged in user's locale. Please note that for now, only read-only custom fields with a column type of string will support translated values. Currently, SAP doesn't support translatable attributes for standard compensation fields and for EC Foundation objects. This feature is introduced as in certain regions, customers are legally required to show the text-based fields in the logged-in user locale. Trying to improve data privacy and monitoring, SAP is introducing the new audit capability for compensation customers on HANA. This provides ability to report on historical data changes made on worksheets, profiles, and executive review. It allows companies to report on the data changes made to the compensation data over time, including the changes made by proxy users as well. Previously, enabling audit required reaching out to the support and took many weeks to be enabled. Now, on HANA customers only, it is optional to enable auditing from the admin centers, doing it on a self-service mode. Companies are required by various compliance laws to provide reporting around change control on compensation data, and this enables that in a very simple way. Moving on to the next one, which caused several customers to work hard during compensation cycles. Previously, compensation statements were not generated for employees when the planner was inactive. Admin would have to manually change the planner status back to active in order to generate the compensation statements for the employees in this planner's worksheets. To provide a more flexible, streamlined experience, you can now generate compensation, variable pay, and combined compensation statements for employees while their planner associated with the worksheet is inactive. And this is a nice new feature, and I personally like it the most in compensation. A new icon will be shown next to the employee where EC promotion has been entered, indicating that the user is being promoted, as you can see on the slide right now. In certain cases, planner would add an EC promotion on the MSS UI, but not save the worksheet itself. The planner's assumption is in such cases could be that the promotion was not saved, as the worksheet was not saved as well. But that's not entirely true. In case the worksheet gets routed by the admin, this promotion would move forward and get published on the EC at a later stage. Now, an icon tells the planner that the promotion data has been entered in a clearer way, and they could delete the promotion if it was unintended. As mentioned earlier, we encourage you to review the detailed list of enhancements in order not to miss the new latest and greatest from SAP on this module as well. Okay, now we will review what's new in the succession and development planning modules. So the first one is talent pools. SuccessFactors has presented a new talent pool, MDF talent pool, in the latest releases. And this MDF talent pool proves to be a very useful tool, not just planning succession and successors, but to group together people in development processes and other talent-related processes. From this release and on, you can simply upgrade to the MDF talent pool using the Upgrade Center. You can do that in a self-service mode, and you do not have to contact SuccessFactors for that. An additional notable fix issue is the role readiness calculation option in Succession. So as of the last release, 1805, you have the ability to choose the proportional role readiness calculation for the career worksheet. As of this release, if this configuration is chosen in the career worksheet, the same formula will be used in the succession org chart and other parts of the succession module, talent module planning. Why is that important? It creates consistency of the experience and system behavior across all the submodules related to the process. And we have yet another improvement to the check tool. This is a new part of the check tool itself. It now covers the career worksheet configuration. Again, we really encourage you to use this check tool. It really helps you to configure the system on your own and to verify that the configuration that you've done is according to the best practices on the one hand, and that you didn't create any discrepancies or inconsistencies in your configuration. In this release, as I said, the career worksheet configuration is added to the check tool and can be used by you. A few more features in the calibration module. So for those of you who are using the calibration module in the talent processes, there are some nice, neat features that can be added or can be used. First of all, you can see that the action buttons are more clearly indicated on screen. They used to be like a bit hidden on the screen, and people could easily get lost there. So you can see the actions on item number 1, and the finalize button also very clear at the bottom. In addition to that, there's a new set of icons that can be used across all the succession modules, in addition to, as one of them, the calibration module as well. And the last one for the calibration, and that will conclude the succession module as well, is including the number figures as well as the percentage in the charts in the calibration. So as you can see on screen, you can toggle between the number of subjects presented in the report and the distribution in percentage. And that makes life very much easier for the end users, for the managers specifically. You can see the data using these two figures, these two options. And this feature is something that was suggested by you, and personally I know that managers have been long waiting for this one. Moving over to Moti Itzkovich for the Employee Central.
Hi, my name is Moti Itzkovich, and I lead the SAP SuccessFactors Employee Central module implementations. Today I will review with you some of the major highlights from this Q3 release, at least according to my perspective. This release contains some cool new features and some user experience upgrades. So let's start with some of my highlights of this release. First up is the enhancement to importing employee data, which greatly improves usability. You can now view field labels that have been configured in the data model instead of field IDs. Employee data is sorted in alphabetical, allowing you to easily search for a particular field quickly. The second enhancement I'd like to mention is for the company structure overview. This is one which some of our customers have previously requested. With this release, this feature will allow customers to show the level of an entity in the hierarchy. This will be updated automatically whenever the association or field relation changes of the entity. You can also specify whether the level information on a card is shown as text or as an icon, and you'll be able to indicate the number, and if you would like to start the counting on the root level. Document generation now supports the possibility to generate an email or PDF document for multiple users at the same time. This is a great feature. I think it's going to be very useful. Some instances when a mass document would be useful is when there are, for example, off-cycle pay rate changes, all monthly promotions, periodical benefit plans, and for example, annual confirmation of emergency contact details, and lastly, confirming legal data before exporting legal reports, to name just a few. I'm sure you and your organization has many more instances when this will come in handy, so now you can take advantage of this enhancement. I should note that it is up to 500 users at a time. Okay, as of this release, importing timesheet data is significantly improved. Now you'll be able to import start and end times and not just daily durations of work. Additionally, it is possible to import multiple attendance types such as break or on-call types. However, I should note that there are some limitations to remaining, but it's a step in the right direction, and it might be sufficient as is for some of our customers. The complete functionality is expected to be released during 2019. To cap my Employee Central update, as Danny previously mentioned several times, I want also to give a short reminder of the check tool to be used in EC. It can be used to identify data and configuration issues on different applications. We strongly recommend you to incorporate this tool in your weekly or monthly business processes to confirm that there are no issues with the data and configuration, at least with the provided checks. And the significant improvement of the check tool for this release in EC is within time management. Since time management application configuration can be complicated, mostly is, the check tool really helps to facilitate configuration and find inconsistencies and incorrect configurations elements, which can result in errors in employee data. With this release, more complete checks for time management are therefore provided. And with just 2 mouse clicks, you are now able to easily identify and correct issues which were previously very complicated to find. So next up, that was it for EC. Next up for recruiting management. Here are some of the highlights for this module. Email campaigns allows customers create and send branded emails to keep in touch with their candidates. SuccessFactors also allows email statistics as how many were viewed, clicked, or unsubscribed. This new feature will allow customers to create marketing campaigns and send them to internal and external candidates. The candidate can apply or reply to the campaign email directly to the customer inbox. Different email layouts can be created, ensuring the brand consistency. You can track the emails to understand the campaign effectiveness and then improve your candidate marketing. You can track the number of views, which means how many recipients viewed your email, how many recipients clicked on the link in the email, how many recipients requested to unsubscribe, number of recipients who were not sent the email, and more. And to note, campaign emails will be sent only to candidates that have opted in to receive marketing email campaigns, which ensures customers remain GDPR compliant. The next enhancement, a new portlet will be added in the candidate profile email campaigns. This portlet will show sent campaigns to specific candidate. This portlet will be visible only to recruiting users and can be used to add the candidate to draft email campaigns. Next up, the talent pool and email campaign information are now reportable via ad hoc reports. You will find the information via recruiting v2 domain. So with this, you can create reports on talent pools and candidate in a talent pool, as well as email campaigns and candidate within that email campaign. Last up, for recruiting, customers can now use the fully supported Apply with LinkedIn feature and simplify the configuration for the recruiting product using only a single supported version for recruiting. This simplifies the configuration between recruiting, marketing, and recruiting management. You should note that in order to use this, you need to have a corporate account with LinkedIn. There are some other prerequisites for using this, so if you are interested in using this new feature, please contact your account manager. Moving on to platform enhancements. First up, you can now create custom tiles that displays dynamic content from a third party, such as an SAP Cloud Platform extension, directly on your organization's homepage. Previously, you could only show third-party content in a popover using an iframe. Now you can display dynamic content directly on the face of the tile so that it is immediately visible to users. This optional feature needs to be enabled and then set up both in SuccessFactors and in the third-party application. This is a nice user experience feature, creating a user call to action and making the Fury homepage more engaging. More user experience upgrades. The next generation onboarding feature for new hires to access the homepage prior to their start date will be possible. Customers can now share company information through custom tiles to these external users so that the new hires will be able to ramp up and learn about their new organization sooner. More user experience improvement, and a very cool one, is with the introduction of the new co-pilot. Now with your digital assistant, your HR processes can be initiated from the action search to launch SAP Copilot, as you can see in the screenshot to the right. This allows an end user to interact with SuccessFactors in a natural language chat conversation and perform common HR transactions. Let's continue with two notable new features in the Integration Center. The first is that Integration Center now supports extracting attachments into the secure FTP folder. This feature was previously available as beta and is now generally available. The next is that a new check in the check tool, again, check tool, supporting integration center has been added to identify issues with secure FTP. Depending on the configured destination or source setting, this check identifies if integration center is whitelisted for the SFTP server and has read and or write access to the SFTP folder. For system admins, I want to share with you that configuration sync across two systems can now be performed by you independently when the instance synchronization configuration wizard is launched. This eliminates the need to open a customer support ticket to pair the source system with the target system, which now enables admins to have more self-service capabilities. And second, for admins, role-based permission is added as well as application selection option in check tool. Role-based permission checks within the check tool include now, for example, verifying if the everyone group exists, verifying if role exists without target population defined, and verifying if roles exist that are not associated with access permission groups or users. This user-friendly approach is another enablement for the better self-service administration and helps reduce risks and prevent missed permissions. The last admin enhancement I want to mention here, still regarding the role-based permissions, is with the list of permissions. The goal of this is to provide a single consolidated list of all permissions in RBP with descriptions. Currently, this will include permissions for Talent and Employee Central only, and other modules will be added in subsequent releases. This will help customers search and investigate it for specific permission by module or component. It will also provide more detailed description of the permissions and be searchable via the help portal. And now just a few words about analytics. Actually, the only significant topic for this release is actually an announcement from SAP. Currently, SuccessFactors allows building a query as a report table ad hoc and then importing that into a Canvas report. This method has proven to be resource intensive. Due to that, SuccessFactors plans to sunset the capability to build such reports and edit existing queries. So it is important that customers edit their Canvas reports to replace queries built in ad hoc reports with queries built in ORD directly.
Thank you, Mati. Hi, everyone. My name is Ron Shapira. I'm the lead consultant on learning management and GEM at AKT, and I'll be walking you through the main changes in these modules for this release. We shall start with GEM and then continue to learning management. So what are some of the main GEM enhancements in this release? First one, GEM now allows customizing the primary navigation menus such as home, groups, knowledge base, and others by editing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in the header. The next topic is header-based group navigation. One disadvantage of the current group navigation bar on the left is that it takes real estate from the page width, leaving not enough space for the main portion of the page where the widgets and content appear. Well, now it will be possible to configure a group to have a top-of-page header-based navigation bar, which is also more consistent with the homepage view, which is already full width. Of course, this depends, on the experience that you want to provide your customer. And in some cases, the old left side panel is good enough. Going over to the next GEM enhancements, you can now choose to configure GEM with a fully custom domain used in the GEM URL to support your company brand. Next GEM enhancement is that SuccessFactors have added the option to show a company level feed on mobile. It will display all posts from public groups and public profiles. The benefits of these are increased visibility on company-level information, encouraging employees to discover new public groups and people, and hence better employee engagement. And for the last JAM enhancement for today's presentations, when posting a comment that includes URL, the JAM mobile app will now render its page title, description, and thumbnail, if that is available, as we expect in any mobile social network application such as Facebook and WhatsApp. The benefits of this are richer information being shared, increased click-throughs, and better employee engagement. Let us now move on to SuccessFactors learning enhancements for this release. Until this upcoming release, recommendations were based on either peer-to-peer recommendations between learners or on learning administrators setting up recommendations to learner populations using assignment profiles. With this release, we are seeing the first step of a revolution in this area. SAP is adding personalized recommendations based on machine learning capabilities of the SAP Leonardo platform. These targeted recommendations are based on taking what we know about an individual user, including their profile information and learning activity, and applying machine learning algorithms. Users can help maximize relevancy by indicating topics of interest, which focuses the recommendation engine. The feature is currently being restricted to customers who qualify to be included in the early adopter program. Another limitation is that it applies only to catalog content in the English locales. The recommendations will appear in the already existing recommendation display areas, on the recommendation style on the user learning homepage, on the catalog browsing page, recommended for you section, as well as using the recommendations newsletter email notification. Customers who are interested in enabling this feature need to fill a form, and SuccessFactors will engage the customer to properly set up this feature and monitor progress. The learning programs feature availability on mobile was originally planned for the previous SuccessFactors release, but was eventually delayed into this release. It will become available on the August release, mobile release for iOS, and on the September release for Android. On image 1, on the left, you can see the program view when entered into from the course catalog. The agenda is fully displayed with highlights of up to 2 learning items per program section, with the option to expand to fully view the section content. On the middle 2 images, you can see the full view of a program after it is already assigned to a user. You can see the familiar progress bar at the top, the launch option for online items, and on the image to the far right, you can see the option to mark a text item as complete. As Moti mentioned earlier, SuccessFactors are introducing a new early adopter capability called Digital Assistant or Copilot, which allows intelligent conversational interaction based on free text and voice. For SuccessFactors learning, this will allow learners to search the learning catalog for topics, list their learning plans and to-dos, add or remove learning courses to the learning plan, view learning classes for an instructor-led learning course, and enroll or unenroll from a learning class. Again, customers interested in Digital Assistant beta program can reach out to Abhijit Salvi from SAP, whose details are on this presentation here. And here is a glimpse of how this can be used for learning. On the left side, the 2 images, you can see the mobile app example of asking to enroll in a scheduled course and of presenting entire learning plan for the user. On the right is a web example of using the top of page action search to launch actions such as show me courses and show me learning plan options, learning enrollment options. You can see the search result appear under the SAP Copilot section of the search result. SuccessFactors keeps moving away from the native plateau interface. In this release, all customers must be integrated with BizX. A standalone LMS mode is not supported anymore. But there are a few exceptions. So while internal users and dual login are not supported anymore, although they still exist, external users are still supported, as well as admin native login. End of life for all these native scenarios is Q3 of 2020.
So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the session and you found it beneficial for you. If you have any question, please contact us through your AKT account manager. Thank you for attending and have a nice day. Bye-bye.